This week on TechRap, Samsung's profit drops amid poor smartphone sales. Snapchat and Chinese company Alibaba in $10 billion funding talks. And you'll never be confused about display resolution again. We explain the difference between 720p, HD, and 4K. Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and this is TechRap. Are tough times ahead for Samsung? The South Korean tech giant's net profits are down for the second straight quarter. This is even more critical because it happens in the second quarter of the year, the period that precedes the yearly launch of their flagship smartphone. Does this mean the S5 hasn't been that big of a success? Not necessarily. While Samsung is mum on actual sales of the S5, the decline is blamed on the poor performance of Samsung's mobile division, which fell 31% since last quarter. Samsung says, quote, prospects for growth remain unclear as competition over global market share intensifies in the mobile industry, i.e., increased pressure from China. Net profits for the second quarter of 2014 were pegged at 6.25 trillion won, about $6 billion, down 20% from the 7.77 trillion won, that's $7.5 trillion, in the same quarter a year ago. So, what can we expect from Samsung in the second half of 2014? Two new smartphones apparently, one described as a phone with a large screen, which most probably refers to the Galaxy Note 4 coming this September. And one more described by Samsung Mobile SVP Kim Hyun-jun as one made of new materials, and my ears twitching, aluminum smartphone. Self-destructing message pioneer Snapchat is reportedly in talks with Alibaba about selling stakes that could value the company at $10 billion. Bloomberg says reports are ongoing, but the value may change throughout the course of the negotiation. If the deal pushes through with the reported value, Snapchat will join a small group of tech startups worth at least $10 billion. Snapchat earlier turned down Facebook's $3 billion offer to buy the company. Apple quietly updates its Retina MacBook Pro line this week, giving them the latest i5 and i7 Haswell processors. Some models also get a bump up in RAM. The 13-inch entry model now sports a 2.6 GHz Intel Core i5 processor and 8 GB of RAM instead of the 2.4 GHz and 4 GB found on the previous model. The entry-level 15-inch model also saw a similar update, 2.2 GHz Intel Core i7 with 16 GB of RAM versus 2 GHz and 8 GB on the previous model. The entry-level 15-incher was the only Mac that received a price drop, $2,599 down from $2,499. This is the first update to the MacBook Pro line this year. The last update came in October of 2013. Apple is expected to release its upcoming operating system OS X 10.10 Yosemite this fall. There are reports that Apple is also working on a 12-inch portable Mac with a form factor that's different from both the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. Sony Philippines announces availability of two new cameras. The ultra-compact RX100 Mark III sports a new pop-up electronic viewfinder, an LCD screen that flips up all the way for selfies, and an improved f1.8 lens. It retails for just under 45,000 pesos. The A77 II DSLR ships with a 16 to 55mm kit lens and a vertical camera grip and retails for 86,999. Local smartphone brand Cherry Mobile meanwhile announces its Flare 3, a sub 4,000 peso phone running Android 4.4 KitKat. The 5-inch dual SIM phone comes with a pretty decent spec sheet, a QHD display, 1.3 GHz quad-core MediaTek processor, 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of storage, 8 and 3 megapixel cameras, and a 1,980 mAh battery. $720p, Full HD, 4K, Ultra High Def, Retina, PPI. When it comes to display resolutions, these terms can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Think of it this way. Each display, whether it's your smartphone or your TV, is made up of plenty of pixels, tiny squares that give out color and light information. Resolution refers to how many pixels there are on your display. For a standard HD or high-definition display, that's 1280 pixels by 720 pixels, or 720p. Now, don't confuse HD with Full HD. They're different. Full HD has even more pixels, 1920 by 1080 pixels to be exact. Some also call it 1080p. I'm sure you've also heard about ultra high def or 4K displays. Those have even more pixels, 3840 by 2160. The more pixels you can squeeze into a display, the sharper the image. But displays come in many sizes. For smartphones, they hover between 4 to 5.5 inches, while the average HD TV is around 30 to 55 inches. If you're comparing two Full HD devices, they both will have the same amount of pixels, of course, but a Full HD display on a 5-inch phone will have smaller pixels than, say, a 55-inch TV. One way to measure pixel density, or how compressed pixels are on your display, is via a unit of measure called pixels per inch, or PPI. The 55-inch Full HD TV has a pixel density of 40 PPI, while the 5-inch Full HD smartphone has a pixel density of 440 PPI, meaning its pixels are 10 times smaller than that of the TV. So, why does a smartphone need smaller, more compressed pixels? It's all about distance of the device from your eyes. The goal is for the pixels to be small enough so they cannot be distinguishable by the naked eye. The recommended viewing distance for a 55-inch TV is anywhere between 8 to 9 feet away. When you sit that far away, the pixels don't need to be that small. If you've ever gone up to a TV and seen something that looks like this, you're actually seeing the pixels. Smartphones, on the other hand, are held at a distance of 6 to 12 inches away. This is where Apple's Retina display comes in. A Retina display is just Apple marketing speak for a display that has more pixels than the human retina can differentiate. Steve Jobs said the magic number was 300 PPI, for something held 10 to 12 inches away. The original Retina iPhone had 326 PPI. While that number is debatable, the reality is there is indeed a fundamental limit determined by how much the eyes can see and the distance at which you are viewing the image from. In an effort to sell devices, companies will always market bigger and better displays. These days, it's ultra-high-def 4K TVs and 2K smartphones. But if you ask me, Full HD looks pretty good on both a smartphone and a TV. Unless you're buying a TV over 60 inches, you probably don't need 4K. Most cinemas project movies at 4K also. I've used a 2K LG G3 for a month now, and I can hardly tell the difference between that and a Full HD Galaxy S5. Okay, so you've picked the display that's right for you, but that's only half of the puzzle. The other half is content. To make the most out of your HD TV, you'll also need HD content. If you're looking at physical media and want Full HD, get a Blu-ray disc. Movies downloaded from iTunes go all the way up to Full HD. Videos streamed via a service like Netflix are HD or Full HD, depending on the device you're using. Except House of Cards Season 2, that's available in 4K. Some videos on YouTube can also go up to 4K, but most of the time will only go up to Full HD. To make sure, just click on the gear icon and look for the 1080p option. In the Philippines, no free TV channels are broadcast in HD. So, if you watch a lot of TV, it's best to look for a cable provider that has HD sports and movie channels. On the reverse side of things, content is also about acquisition. Many new smartphones and cameras tout 4K video capture. But what good is that feature if you don't have a 4K display to view them on? If you're watching 4K video from a smartphone on a Full HD TV, all you're really getting is Full HD. So keep all of this in mind when buying a new device. How big is the display I'm getting? How far away will it be positioned? Do I have access to HD movies and HD TV shows? And of course, what's my budget? And that was TechRap episode 91. We're 9 episodes away from 100 episodes. For the latest tech news, visit Rappler.com/technology. Follow Rappler on social media. Join our conversation online. You send us emails. The details are below. That's all for this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Michael Josh.